Hi, guys, and welcome back to Speak Up, a program that is brought to you by Fat Corner, where we throw more light into handling emotional and psychological issues facing us in the world and in Africa specifically. I am your host, Kimi Ebisine-Ogunniye. If this is your first time here, or if you haven't liked or subscribed to Fat Corner channel, then please kindly do so by hitting that like button on Facebook and the subscribe button on YouTube so I can be able to give you more content like this. You matter to us. Thank you very much. I'll just dive on straight on into our discussion of today. A couple of weeks ago, Nigeria and the whole internet it went agog when a young boy, Sylvester Oromoni, died controversially after being bullied in school by his colleagues just a couple of days before his 12th birthday. The government has gone ahead now to shut down the school. Everyone is crying for justice for Sylvester. Yes, because it is sad. Justice needs to be served because a child who is sent to school shouldn't have to die from being in school. But my concern is that this is not new. And so many kids have either died or are going through severe psychological damage due to bullying that goes on in our society. A couple of people are already older, but they're still battling with this psychological damage that they've had to go through in school. And so at Fat Corner, we want to discuss how to address these kinds of problems in our society, especially how we can help our little kids, be it boarding or day school. How everyone can join hands to prevent bullying or cultism in our schools. Several people need to put hands together to save our kids. There is the role of the parents, the school, the government, other caring adults, and even the colleagues of our pupils in school have a role to play in preventing bullying. I want to start with the government because most times when things like this happen in our school, the government sits back in the back seat and there's really not much that is done, especially in Africa, in Nigeria. But this doesn't need to be so. The government needs to put down strong legislation that not only help to combat bullying, but give staff of schools the power to tackle bullying. One way they can do this is that they enforce that the proprietor or management of school ensures that bullying at the school is prevented by drawing up an implementation of an effective anti-bullying strategy. If the government gives these laws, then the school would have no option but to work with it. Another thing is staff members need to have the power to discipline pupils for misbehaving outside the school premises. I'll shed more light into this. So many times while we're sitting in front of our teachers, whatever we do at that time, the teacher corrects them. But the minutes we're out of the front of the teachers, most of the things that is done, the teachers don't really look into it, especially because of whatever reason, and also because of the backlash that can come if they go about tackling those things. But if government gives this power to the teachers, and then so therefore the teachers will be able to look at things that happen outside the school premises. If a child is bullied while they are back in their hostels or on their way home outside school, if the teacher has the power to still discipline in those circumstances, it gives them more power and more grace to be able to tackle bullying that happens in school. Another thing that needs to be done is that the school needs to be held accountable for any bullying that occurs there. In this case, we find the school putting up some shoddy letters out there and trying not to be accountable for what they have done. That should not be it. Once a bullying has occurred in the school should be held accountable. That is the first point of call. If schools are held accountable, if schools know that their licenses will be seized, they will be shut down. If bullying occurs in their premises and they haven't done anything to stop it, they would work harder in able to stop bullying from happening in our schools. Another thing is that bullying should be made a criminal offense. If children, pupils know that if they bullied one another, they would be tagged a criminal, there will be serious consequences that goes beyond just suspension for a couple of days. that goes beyond just leaving that school, but actually will be damaging to your life in general, we would see that there will be a reduction in it. I know that saying that making bullying a criminal offense sounds a bit extreme, but I tell you, some of the kind of bullying that happens should be made criminal. Parents should be able to tell their children that if you do this, you might go to jail, you might face serious consequences. And so because of that, they will not do that, because they know that it goes beyond just being suspended for a couple of days and they are back in school and continuing the cycle. It goes beyond knowing that your parents will back you up if this comes to light and you can't be bothered, you keep bullying them. If bullying is made a criminal offense, maybe then and maybe more will be done into it to prevent it. Another thing the government needs to do is have a system where we have like social workers or counselors that work with the government. They are like a liaison between the government, the people, and the parents. They are independent of the school. In most advanced countries, you have that working perfectly, where you have social workers that are there whose primary concern is the welfare of the kids. And so they step into the family if it's happening in the family, they step in if it's happening in the school, they have the middle ground. But students have more confidence to talk to them because you know that they are not biased. They are not linked towards a school and so would only be favoring the school, or they will hide those things. No, the role of those people are specifically to look after the welfare of the kids, and that will put more trust in them. This system needs to be revived. We find where children are being bullied, things are going on, but no one steps in to help the kids. We need to bring in social workers. In those days, there used to be sort of counselors that go in to supervise what happens in the school that comes from the government. But I'm not sure this happens anymore. These days when they go, they are just bribed and they don't do their job properly. We need people who will take this job seriously and make sure that these children are protected. Primary goal of the social workers and all counselors should be to save the children. Make sure that the children are in the best environment that they can thrive. Let's now go on to what is the role of the school. School leaders, teachers, staff, and other peoples, we all have a right and responsibility in helping to prevent bullying. And we should work together to create an environment in which pupils can learn and develop. All school staff are in a position of trust, and there are expectations that they will act in a professional manner at all times. I'll tell you, it's because I trust you, the teacher. That is why I've sent my child to you. And we need to hold that trust accountable. It shouldn't just be you're getting a job, your 9 to 5 or whatever your timing is. And after school closes, you don't care. You just want to download. It is not my job to train your child. It is my job to teach them 1+1 mathematics. It shouldn't be so. We need to have teachers, staff that are passionate about the welfare of students. That is what we need to do. They need to work in a professional manner. It's because we trust them. They need to uphold that trust. I know your job is tough. I know it's not easy taking care of kids who don't listen all the time, because it's even difficult for a parent to take care of their own kids, least of all taking care of so many kids out there. We know that, but we're employing teachers, we're employing school leaders to please, 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 you decided to take up this job, please take it seriously. The schools needs to have policies in place to deal with bullying and poor behavior. These policies should be clear to the parents, it should be clear to the people, it should be clear to the staff, so that when incidents occur, they are dealt with quickly. The school response to bullying, it should not start at the point where the child has been bullied. No, they need to develop a more sophisticated approach in which staff can proactively gather intelligence about issues between pupils, which you think will provoke conflicts. You do not wait until the child is bullied before you step in. You look at the signs in the child that you're teaching and know when to step in. You could see those signs clearly in the child from the response they have, from what they used to be to what they are now, and step in proactively. They should look for a way to resolve conflict, develop strategies to prevent bullying occurring in the first place. This will involve talking to pupils. I know while we were in school, we used to have guidance counselors that we used to be able to speak to. Those things need to be brought back. The guidance counselors should be able to speak to the children because not only is the academics of importance, the mental well-being of the student is also important. Staff themselves should be able to determine what will work best for their pupils. The thing is, you spend a lot of time with these children, so you should know what will work best. You should know the skills, and please don't ignore the signs because it could be your child some other day. The whole school community should understand reporting routes and the responsibilities. Sometimes children are afraid to say these things because there is no clear route of how these things will be tackled, because there's no clear route of how to report. You don't know who you're reporting to. You're not certain if when you tell your teacher the actions the teachers will carry and how those actions will lead further, actions that will not even prevent the student. Because if I'm going to report a bullying to you and it will cause me to be bullied more, I would not report that bullying. It's true. If reporting it make my situation worse, I won't report it. And that is what we find in schools. So school needs to make a clear route of reporting and responsibilities and consequences. Make it clear. Children should feel that safety within the staff. Schools need to create an ethos of good behavior where children treat one another and the school staff with respect, because they know it's the right way to behave. And this should involve the parents as well. Involve parents to ensure that they are clear that the school does not tolerate bullying and are aware of the procedures to follow if they think their child is being bullied. If there is a procedure for a child that is being bullied and the parents know about it, the pupils themselves know about it, the teachers know about it, it is easy for these procedures to be carried out. Parents need to feel confident that if they make a complaint, it will be taken seriously and resolved. I know some parents will go to extreme, they would scream and make so much. It's because of the passion they have for their children, but clear routes needs to be made there. Every child needs to feel protected. And this also needs to involve other pupils. You need to understand that every pupil should step up. Don't keep quiet if your colleague is being bullied. You need to step up, because sometimes these bullies themselves, they are afraid. They do not have the same power. They themselves are afraid. So if they find that you are standing up to them, they might run away. Every people need to be clear about the parts that they play in preventing bullying, including when they find themselves as bystanders. It's sad when it is after the damage is done, you find pupils coming to say, oh yes, this happened while I was there. People should be able to help their colleagues report cases of bullying without they themselves getting into trouble. These are some of the things that the school needs to do. And finally, I want to talk to the parents. Parents, we have a role to play to help our kids. It is not just send them to school and forget about it, and all that happens there doesn't matter. A lot of times, we have the idea of what we want for our kids. We have the schools we think they need to go, what they need to get. And so we do not even look at these signs that are happening when the kids come back home. We do see where the parents, a child comes back home from school, they are sad, their countenance is different. They are not the child that you left, but you're just too busy running around your own life that you cannot see that difference. We've had this conversation over and over. Parents, please spend time with your kids. You want to help them understand what bullying is all about. You want to encourage them to speak to you. You want to keep the line of communication open. I keep saying this. If your child is confident that they can tell you anything, if you are your child's best friend, they will tell you when it's happening. They will not be afraid. A child comes to say to the parent that I don't want to go to that school anymore, but we are not listening to that because we think that is the best school for the child. No, no, no. We need to listen to them. Why is this different? What are you experiencing? Show more light, go a little bit more. Don't just leave them to their expenses, and then when the damage happens, it is our own loss when it happens. Parents, we have a big role to play. A personal example is where, because we want the child to go to this school, and because the child is giving us the signs, we're not looking into it, the damage that will happen is worse. Even if you don't lose that child to death, you are having a child that is going to be scarred for life. Parents, please, 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 I keep saying this, make your child your best friend. Have a open line of communication and take actions. Don't hop on and always hit your child. Don't hop on and always be standing against your child and think your child is worse. Listen to them. They have something to say. You need to help them understand what bullying is about. You need to encourage them to talk. You need to teach them to stand up to kids who bully them. You need to teach them to stand up for themselves. Another thing we parents need to do is model our good behavior. Model how to treat others with kindness and respect. Most of these children who bully have learned these things from home. The parents themselves have been bullying others around them, and they've gone away with it. The parents of themselves are rude and disrespectful, and they are not good role models. So these kids are learning it from parents. You think your child is not seeing, they are seeing, and they are learning all these things you're doing. So we need to start as role models. Most bullies are bred at home, and I will say that again with confidence. Most bullies are bred at home. It is what you have done that is pulled on your child, and that is what that child is carrying on further to do to others. So please, let us pay attention. Let us teach our kids the right way. Let us show them how to be kind. Let us show them how to be respectful. Let us show them how to have boundaries. That way, we are not only saving our kids, but we are saving all kids out there. Bullying is bad. Everyone needs to take a stand and action to stop bullying in schools. If you have any questions or comments, or if you'd like to tell us your story, please feel free to get in touch with me by sending an email to info@fatcorner.org or through a direct message on our Facebook page at fatcorner.org. You can also put your comments in the comment section of this broadcast. Until next time, speak up.